Alright everyone, it's time for a very happy announcement. It'll be hopefully right on time for the Halloween occult book rush, so to speak. I'm creating a book of demonology. This is different from the works that I've been creating. What I wanted to do is create 300 separate editions of texts that I had reworked, modernized, improved, different format and so forth, new covers. I've done that over time. What I decided to do, though, is make a series of compiled works which would be more academic. So in these works, essentially, they start off with a much more expansive preface in which I describe the works, sort of the compilational goal, because like with Demonology, which is the book I've made now, and we'll be releasing, hopefully, assuming I can get through Amazon's formatting issues within a few days. What I wanted to do is look at a broad plethora of different descriptions of opinions, rather, of what is a demon, if they exist at all. Satan, does he exist? What's his form and figure? And things attendant to that, like persecution, witchcraft in general, superstition. And so what I arrived at was an 8-work compilation. There are 8 different works from 8 entirely different opinions about the subject, plus an appendix containing snippets from other works that I thought not to include due to length, mainly. An expansive preface detailing everything, and then also a bibliography of additional works that people can look up on the same basic subject in order to flesh things out more. So it's essentially 1 part primary documents, 1 part research guide, you could call it, and then giving my opinion, sort of, showing the reader different opinions on these things. So, for instance, the next book that I do will be alchemy. Well, there's physical alchemy, there's spiritual alchemy, there are rational works about it, there are works that take it very seriously. There will be various things about that as well. With demonology, I thought to include demoniality, which is a Catholic work and takes the subject seriously. The Piazza, the Devil Among the Indians, which is fundamentally an academic work. However, it's interesting because it comes from the pre-modern scientific period, and so when it talks about these demonic creatures being depicted by the natives in legend, it takes seriously the idea that there was a creature there. It just says that it was the dinosaurs. Well, obviously there were still dinosaurs on this continent when the natives first came around. Of course, that's now been completely discredited, but it is still an interesting opinion. Demonology by King James, one of the bloodiest works ever written. Right up there with the Malleus Maleficarum and certain religious texts, let's put it that way. A work of Protestant lore by, the actual... It was before he was technically the King James I. He wasn't king, I believe, at the time. He ascended later. He also wrote an anti-smoking manifesto, literally the first smoking cessation guide. It was written by King James. Very interesting, yes, of Bible fame. Perhaps another work that led to various persecutions. Then there are several rational texts. The Devil, His Origin, Greatness and Decadence, by Reveal, actually, and several others. And also Sellos' commentary on the operation of demons, which is delivered in the form of a Socratic dialogue. All of these works have a totally different opinion on what is a demon or Satan, do they exist, and give various more fleshed out sort of looks at, I would say, the secondhand fallout from that, which can be persecution, superstition, or in some cases, a couple of these works, technically speaking, are satirical. Pointing out, well, the devil's not the bad guy. Look at this passage from the Bible. It's actually God that's the bad guy. So here's the real Satan, sort of rendered to being a mischievous imp, sort of like the little red man trope. You also have Osborne Eve's work, which is actually a spiritualist work, which comes from the early 1900s, and it's interesting because technically speaking, it's on vampirism. But the spiritual entities that are spoken of there in the astral sort of new agey sense are demons. They would be understood by the average reader under an Occidental tradition on the subject to be demonic in form. And by the way, demons, that is the original word daimon from the Greek, doesn't necessarily intone an evil spirit. And that's the other thing. I almost wanted to write a section on that, but I couldn't really find a work fleshing that out in enough detail that wouldn't be too long. I'd have to put it in the appendix, and that would make an extra section. It wouldn't really, I think, make too much sense. So it will be a full-length work. I think and in the end it'll be between 320 and 400 pages, depending on what I do with the final format. Because I tried doing it in a 6x9, but I had everything done. Formatted, literally the whole work was done, including the cover. I tried to upload it and the cover wouldn't take. Now I printed out a 6x9 cover template from Amazon's CreateSpace itself. There is no other more proper place to get the actual file. And instead it said, well, we need the cover to be, what was it, something like 9.8 by 6 point something. I'm like, literally right on the actual publishing page, literally one page before the pricing, and then click submit. It's like, well, we can't do this. It's in the wrong format. And I'm like, I'm looking at it literally. It's in the perfect format. There's no other format to put it under, and it's still not giving me the work. So I'm going to try it in 5x8. It could be due to length requirements, page, like I might have to reformat it a third time. That would be definitely something that I do not want to do. We'll see. My hope is that the 5x8 will take, but now I have to go through, because again, when you change the format, sometimes the lines will stagger, and you have to go through line by line once again. I did about a third of that yesterday, but we'll figure it out. So that is forthcoming. I hope to have it done within the next few days. That's about all. Peace out.